It's impossible to let him go. That's the constant struggle with me. That's the fight that we've got in the business all the time. You know, I pour my love into them, and when it's time for them to leave, it does hurt a little bit.
A chilling question has haunted fans of custom cars. What happened to the stars of Counting Cars? Were they dead? Or worse, locked away in jail? This show, where Danny Count Koker and his crew turned rusty metal into roaring art, suddenly vanished from our screen. But the rumors of tragedy and crime for these beloved car builders are far from the full story. Danny Count Koker. The most shocking rumor to hit the custom car world was the one claiming Danny Count Koker, the heart and soul of Counting Cars, had passed away. Imagine the shock for fans who loved his passion for turning old cars into rolling masterpieces. But here is the truth. Danny Couker is very much alive and still rocking the world of custom cars. So where did such a dark rumor come from? It was a simple yet heartbreaking mix-up. The news of Danny Couker's death actually came from the obituary of his father, who was also named Danny Couker. His father passed away in Detroit, Michigan in November 2016. Because they shared the same name, many fans mistakenly thought it was the star of Counting Cars who had died. Before he became the famous Count, Danny Couker's life was already filled with cars and music. He was born in 1964 in Cleveland, Ohio, where he lived with his parents and sister, Kim. It was there, in Ohio, that his love for cars began. His father, along with other family members and friends, worked for the Ford Motor Company. This is likely where young Danny first learned about cars and how they worked. He taught himself how to fix cars, taking apart old ones and learning to put them back together. This hobby became the strong base for his future success. But cars were not his only passion. Danny also loved music, a talent he got from his father, Danny Couker Sr. When he was young, Danny joined his family band and found out he could sing. This skill would come back later in his life in a big way. Before Counting Cars, Danny was already a familiar face on TV, but in a very different role. His family owned a local TV station in Las Vegas, Channel 33. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Danny hosted a late-night horror movie show called Saturday Fright at the Movies. It was during this time that he got his famous nickname, The Count. He created a character called Count Coolrider for the show, and the name stuck with him. Even while hosting the show, he was working on cars as a hobby. When he decided to open his own business, he and his team knew that using his nickname would be a smart move. Danny's TV career also included appearances on another popular show, Pawn Stars. Rick Harrison, the owner of the Pawn Stars shop, would often call on Danny as his expert when classic cars or hot rods came into the shop. Danny would help Rick figure out how much these cool old cars were worth. This is likely how Danny built connections with people at the History Channel, which later opened the door for his own show, Counting Cars. Now, what about the other chilling rumor that Danny Couker was in jail? These claims often linked him to fake CBD sales or other illegal activities. Danny Couker himself has laughed off these rumors, saying, "Apparently, I am in jail like every other week." He has never been charged or jailed for any CBD sales scams. In fact, he hired a legal firm to fight these lies on social media. While Danny Couker was not personally jailed, his business, Count's Customs, did face some serious legal and money problems. The shop had legal troubles and faced criticism from fans, including a huge $2.7 million lawsuit. This massive stress even caused him to lose 35 pounds. These were tough times for a high-profile business, but they were not criminal charges that would put him in jail. The jail rumors were likely just a wild story made up from these real business problems. So where is Danny Couker today? He is still the driving force behind Count's Customs. He is busy building custom cars and motorcycles, doing what he loves most, But that is not all. He is also the lead singer of his metal rock band, Count 77. His wife, Corey, even manages the band and their brand, often setting up shows at their own place, Count's Vamped Rock Bar and Grill in Las Vegas. Danny also runs Count's tattoo company. You can even take free tours of his amazing car collection at Count's Customs. His love for classic cars and rock and roll is as strong as ever. He has an impressive collection of cars, with 58 cars and 78 motorcycles counted back in 2013. One car he says he will never sell is a '66 Mustang GT350, which his dad bought for him when he was 9 years old. He says this car is why he loves cars so much. But what about the other people who worked alongside him at Count's Customs? Did they also face dark rumors, or did some of them truly disappear into trouble? Joseph Frontiera's story. While Danny Couker himself was never jailed, the counting cars story does have a real legal problem involving a former employee named Joseph Frontiera. Joseph was an accountant for Count's Customs, working behind the scenes instead of being a main face on the show. Even though he was not often on TV, his actions caused big problems for the company. Count's Customs filed a lawsuit saying that Joseph Frontiera stole more than $75,000 from the company for his own use. The lawsuit said he used company money to make a down payment on his own Land Rover Range Rover and to buy airplane tickets. On top of that, he supposedly did not pay the company's taxes on time, which led to an $18,000 penalty from the IRS. The lawsuit even claimed that Frontiera made fake signature stamps of Daniel N. Couker and Kevin Mack so he could sign checks when they were not there, getting around their watchful eyes. Count's Customs later found out that Frontiera had a history of stealing and fraud from a past job in Florida. The lawsuit also went after Randstad Professionals, the company that helped Count's Customs hire Frontiera, saying they did not tell Count's Customs about his past. While the lawsuit against Randstad did not go through, the legal fight against Frontiera kept going. Joseph Frontiera was charged in September 2013 with felony theft for stealing more than $3,500, and a warrant for his arrest was put out. But here is the important part. This warrant has not been served because he is living in Florida. While reports say he paid the tax bill and disappeared from the screen, the information we have does not confirm that he was ever found guilty or spent time in jail for these charges. A report from Michigan that lists criminal convictions for stealing and fraud does not have Joseph Frontiera's name on it. This means that even though he faced serious charges and there was a warrant for him, we do not have proof that he was ever actually in jail. It seems he may have avoided being arrested right away by staying in Florida. This legal trouble, along with other issues, played a big part in why Counting Cars stopped filming. It was not just about one person's actions, but how those actions affected the whole show. This leads us to another person who left the show, and how his departure also added to the show's end. Scott Jones and Rolly Sabo. Scott Jones, who used to be a manager at the shop, was a familiar face in the early seasons of the show. His leaving the show happened early on and was first explained with unclear reasons, like a mutual decision, creative differences, or personal priorities. But a clearer and more believable reason came out. He moved to Tennessee after his son was born. This personal family reason is a much happier story than the wild rumors often heard about people leaving reality TV shows. This explanation was even confirmed on Season 3, Episode 1 of Counting Cars. Even though Scott Jones left for family reasons, his name became part of another big legal problem that affected the whole show. A couple claimed that Scott Jones promised them a $50,000 car restoration for a part on the show. They said the cost included $11,000 to buy an old car in New York and $39,000 for the work. They were also told that the TV show producers would give another $20,000 because the car would be on the show. The couple agreed to pay $50,000 and expected the car to be filmed in Las Vegas by December 2013. But in August 2013, the couple was told that the History Channel would not film the restoration anymore, even though the work would continue. The show did not keep its promise, which led to a lawsuit. This lawsuit, along with Joseph Frontiera's stealing, played a big part in the producer's decision to stop the show. Another cast member whose leaving made people ask questions was Rolly Sabo, the show's detailer. Rolly also left the show, but unlike Scott, the exact reasons for his departure are not widely known or clear from the information we have. Rolly, who was known for his thick accent and funny actions, continued to offer detailing services in Las Vegas through his business, Rock and Rolly Custom Detailing. His time on Counting Cars helped his business grow, and he even went to a training center in Canada in 2019 to get better at his skills. However, the pandemic hit his business hard, causing him to lose clients and face money problems. Even with these challenges, Rolly has stayed positive and is working to rebuild his business, thankful for the help of his friends and fans. So, while some cast members faced legal troubles or left for personal reasons, what about the rest of the crew? Did they also vanish, or did they keep the engines roaring at Count's Customs? The enduring Count's Customs crew. Even though Counting Cars stopped airing and many rumors flew around, the heart of Count's Customs is still beating strong. The main team is still working hard and dedicated to their craft. This goes against the idea that most of the beloved cast just disappeared. Let us look at Kevin Mack, Danny Couker's business manager and best friend for over 20 years. While some online rumors said Kevin vanished from the show in 2020 and that his reasons were unclear, official sources say this is not true. Kevin is still very much involved with Count's Customs, managing the daily work, and he is even set to appear at different events well into 2025. He continues to be the voice of reason among the creative chaos at the shop. The idea that he vanished likely came from him being on TV less after the show ended, not from him actually leaving the business or public life. Kevin Mack was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, and still lives there. Before joining Danny Couker at Count's Customs in 2005, he worked in the convention industry for 15 years. He and Danny first met while riding custom choppers around Las Vegas. Kevin is known for keeping things together at Count's Customs and trying to keep the rest of the crew focused. Even though he has a reputation for being tough, he has a soft spot for animals. Kevin's favorite car build and episode on Counting Cars is his own 1969 Cadillac Sedan de Ville. He loves this car because his grandma had one when he was a kid. Kevin also has a son named Devin, who has been racing the Legends car that belongs to Count's Customs since he was 13. Devin, nicknamed Cheeky, started racing go-karts when he was 8. Kevin's brother, Steve, is a lawyer and judge in Las Vegas who also owns a tow yard. Next up is Horny Mike, the custom airbrusher known for his unique style and humor. Any rumors that he disappeared or was fired are not true. He is still actively working as the custom airbrusher for Count's Customs and continues to show up at events, staying visible at the shop and public gatherings. Horny Mike was born in California but grew up outside Detroit, Michigan. He started airbrushing in high school, making money by painting personalized t-shirts for his classmates. After high school, he lived out of his van and moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where he continued airbrushing for tourists. Eventually, he brought his airbrushing skills to Fremont Street in Las Vegas before joining Count's Customs. Mike's nickname comes from his habit of putting 3D horns on everything, from vehicles to helmets and even his riding gear. His quirky style made him one of the most memorable cast members on the show, even if his designs did not always match Danny Couker's taste. Horny Mike's talent as an airbrush painter is well known by fans and his co-workers. In Season 4 of the show, a special episode called Paint Jobs was even dedicated to showing off some of his amazing car designs. One great project was a Corvette painted to honor the Second Amendment with a striking flag design and custom seats. Another notable project was the Horn Smart Car, a small electric car that Mike turned into a green monster. He said the Smart Car was a good way to promote counting cars, and he was right, as it got a lot of attention in Las Vegas and was shown at many events. He also worked on a GMC medieval-themed truck, which Danny himself called Mike's Mona Lisa because of all the detail and art. Even though Mike was not allowed to use his signature green paint on that one, he still delivered an impressive final piece. Horny Mike's favorite vehicle is a 1963 Galaxy 500 convertible, which his uncle has promised to him. He also has two favorite personal builds for Count's Customs: his 2005 Electric Glide Jaw-Dropper and his 1955 GMC school bus. His motto for these builds, and most of his work, is "the more horns, the better, and it must be green." He is currently working on a custom version of the famous 1989 Batmobile. He has a soft spot for cats and sees himself as a single cat lady at heart. Then there is Ryan Evans, the super talented lead painter and the creative mind behind Count's Customs' amazing transformations. He is still the lead custom painter, actively involved in designing and creating custom builds. He also helps the industry by teaching workshops and appearing at events. It is important to know that he did not leave the show. The producers canceled the show. This means his absence from TV was because the show ended, not because he left the shop. Ryan Evans was born in Mount Vernon, Illinois, into a military family. After living all over the world, his family settled in Killeen, Texas, where Ryan started his painting career in his parents' garage. In 1996, Ryan moved to Los Angeles to be closer to the custom car scene. 3 years later, Danny and Shannon called him and convinced him to move to Las Vegas to join the Count's Customs crew. Since then, Ryan has become one of the best painters in the world. He was discovered by Shannon, the lead bike builder, 21 years ago. Ryan is now Danny's right-hand man in coming up with ideas and finishing every project that comes into the shop. He even lived upstairs in the shop for a year while they were filming. In 2015, Ryan won the Airbrush Action Magazine's choice for SEMA's Best in Show Award for his custom paint and graphics on a 1973 Boattail Riviera. He is known for being a calm and easygoing guy around the shop. Ryan's favorite car is a 1969 Chevelle because he was almost born in one, and it is his earliest and fondest childhood memory with his family. He dearly loves his wife Dana and has a soft spot for cats. Then there is Ghetto Bob, the general manager for all projects that come through Count's Customs. He is still very much in his role. He continues as the general manager of project production and is scheduled for upcoming events, showing his ongoing and important work for the business. Ghetto Bob got his start in the car audio industry as a teenager in his hometown of Houston, Texas. He learned how to build and customize mini trucks and hot rods as he gained more knowledge in the industry. When he moved to Southern California, he was the first car audio installer for West Coast Customs. During that time, he worked on many famous projects, from Fast and Furious 2 to installing custom audio for some of Hollywood's most famous actors, athletes, rappers, and hip-hop stars. Ghetto Bob and Count's Customs started working together more than 20 years ago on several projects. He became a regular cast member of Counting Cars in 2016. He is known for wearing his signature Houston Astros hat and often saying the words, "No Mike." If you asked him about his favorite episode, he would jokingly say, it is the time he got a tattoo of his gay lovers Mike and Ryan. But truthfully, his favorite episode is the one where he restored his father's 1966 Mustang Fastback. He has a soft spot for his kids and loves spending time at home. Finally, there is Shannon Aikau, the master bike builder. Born and raised on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, Shannon found his home at Count's Customs. Shannon's love for motorcycles came from his father, Jimmy, who was a passionate rider and mechanic. Shannon started tinkering with bikes at age 6 and built his first Harley when he was just 12. His family, the Aikau family, is related to the famous surfer and first official lifeguard of Waimea Bay, Eddie Aikau. In 1998, Shannon moved to Las Vegas, where he met Danny the Count Koker while working for Evil Twin Cycles. A few years later, Danny opened Count's Customs, and Shannon found a place there, building custom motorcycles for 20 years. In 1998, Shannon built Danny's first bike, called Tattoo. Danny's everyday rider, Coffin, soon followed. Both choppers have 30-over Sugar Bear Springer front ends, because Shannon only uses the best parts. Shannon remains dedicated to building custom motorcycles at Count's Customs, a key role he has held for 2 decades. He carefully turns client ideas into reality, building more than 15 choppers a year. His favorite build is the 1977 Purple Haze FXE because its engine was the last one built by his father, Jimmy. He worked on it with his father, Mr. Koker, and Danny, making it one of the last projects he got to work on with his dad. You can find it today above the bar at Count's Vampy D Rock and Roll Bar. Shannon has a soft spot for his daughters and enjoys practicing archery in his free time. The Aikau family also loves Volkswagens, with every family member owning one at some point because they are plentiful and cheap. The team at Count's Customs is still working hard to make the custom car dreams of many customers come true. Led by Danny Count, this team turns amazing old-school cars into awesome creations. Despite the show ending, this team is still going strong. They post regular updates on their Facebook page about new projects and activities. They also host many events, including car shows, museum events, and Count 77 band tour dates. You can visit their museum daily from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for free tours of Danny's collection. Our journey through the lives of the Counting Cars cast members shows a story much richer than the wild rumors of them being dead or in jail. While people often expect dramatic and sad endings for reality TV stars, the truth for most of the beloved cast is one of continued hard work and strength.